From News 7 KWWL, this is breaking news.
Indeed, breaking news tonight here at 6 o'clock. As expected, there are now 2 lawsuits filed against the state of Iowa over its new immigration law.
That's right. The U.S. Justice Department filed a lawsuit late this afternoon. A civil and immigration rights group filed one earlier today. They argue that law is unconstitutional.
Now, the new Iowa law makes it a crime for a person to be in our state of Iowa if they were previously deported from the United States. With that in mind, let's go live in the studio right now to KWW reporter Daniel Perot with more on the late developments. We are kind of expecting this, but tell us more.
The DOJ says that Senate File 2340 violates the supremacy and the foreign commerce clauses of the U.S. Constitution. The head of the Justice Department Civil Division saying quite pointedly, Iowa cannot disregard the U.S. Constitution and Supreme Court precedent. The DOJ says that the Iowa law steps on the federal government's authority to enforce immigration law. Historically, that's been a federal issue because it is a binational process. Earlier today, the ACLU and American Immigrant Council also filed a lawsuit. That one was on behalf of Iowa Migrant Movement for Justice.
It is truly impossible to overstate how terrible this law is, how poorly written it is, how bizarre it is, and how extreme it is.
In a new federal lawsuit, civil and immigrant rights groups call Iowa's law a patently illegal plan to replace Congress's immigration scheme with its own.
Now, that is well-settled law.
Iowa's law gives law enforcement the power to arrest people who have an outstanding deportation order or who have been previously deported or denied entry to the country. ACLU attorney Rita Bettis Austin says that could include people with green cards or asylum.
It criminalizes people who do have legal authority to be present in our country and in our state, but have been removed in the past.
Under the law, migrants could either agree to leave the U.S. by judge's order or be prosecuted and face 2 to 10 years in prison.
It's also just an incredibly inhumane law that puts lives of families at risk.
The Iowa law is similar to a law in Texas that's currently held up in the courts. Governor Reynolds says it's needed because the federal government is not doing enough to enforce immigration laws, saying she has a responsibility to protect Iowans.
It definitely is unconstitutional. I mean, one state cannot be over the Constitution.
Iowa City immigrant advocacy group Escucha Mi Voz cheered efforts to block the law. Manny Galvez says it could lead to racial profiling and stereotyping.
Most likely, if they see you or they see me, they're going to ask me about my citizenship.
Local law enforcement says the new law would strain resources. Some departments have already said they won't enforce it. Advocates say the new law will discourage victims from calling police for help. The DOJ says that it will ask a court to declare Senate File 2340 is invalid and illegal. So far, Iowa Republicans are standing their ground here, with Attorney General Brenna Bird saying today that the state is ready to defend its immigration law that keeps Iowa communities safe. Elizabeth and Ron.
All right, Daniel, thanks so much. And both the DOJ and the civil and immigrant rights groups say that they will ask the court to block the law from taking effect while these lawsuits play out.
That's right, Elizabeth. And of course, they would like to see that happen before the law goes into effect. That's on July 1st. Lawmakers say, and this is expected, of course, they'll file for a motion for an injunction as early as tomorrow.